Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage. We're back working on the 39 Forgotten Hot Rod project. So we've had a ton of trouble with getting glass sorted for this car. Number one, when we were going to do glass like way back in the summer on this thing, the whole epidemic thing was going on and we couldn't get a hold of our glass shop, of course. So we were having trouble there. Then we had Rick out in Washington hooked us up and sent me some glass from his 40 two-door sedan, and we both learned something. A lot of us learned something, but I definitely learned something. 40 glass is just a little bigger than 39, and I broke the glass trying to put it in the windshield. The back glass did work. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that, but I learned a expensive lesson. So then I went and ordered some glass from Bob's Auto Glass that's out on the West Coast, and I think they might even be in Oregon or Washington. And something happened with my order when I called, and I never got my glass. So I called him back again, spoke with Bob. Super, super nice. The owner was very nice and accommodating, and he made sure that my order got right out. He was able to take the rear windows out of this, the kit, and I finally have my glass kit. And it came in the mail, and we're ready to go. So Justin's been working on getting all the gunk cleaned out of the windshield frame while I've been working on the Roadster, and we can start putting this windshield glass in finally. Fingers crossed we don't break it this time, and we can start getting some glass in this car and hopefully get the whole car with glass in it so that it actually looks like a complete car and not some busted out jalopy, or not quite as bad. So let's get going. And we're gonna end up cutting some off, I think, because it's gonna wrap around.
Want me to turn it?
Yeah. I'll probably put a couple wraps. Well, maybe we'll put, if I put 2 wraps on, and we'll test it and see how tight it is.
Yeah.
I remember when I did the T windshield. Go ahead. I put too much on, I had to take like a wrap or 2 off. Alright, let's test. So that is, let's see. They're both the same, so we'll just. See how it fits in the frame. Like, it's too loosey-goosey. It's actually not bad.
No, it's not. That's actually
Probably about what it needs to be, right?
yeah, because
It's getting tight as it
it
goes
goes down.
Yeah. Okay.
We're just figuring this out as we go.
People are going to see the gray and be like, what the fuck?
Filtered. But we're trying to film it like it was done back in the day.
Is that the correct side? Did you check that?
Yeah, it's got the same.
Okay. There you go. You were crooked. Okay.
Okay.
Better. So I guess now,
Done real fun.
so we're gonna try and flip this, or you want me to go?
I'd leave this and we'll
Yeah, that's what I
cap
was
it.
thinking.
How's that side looking?
That one I could probably get a screw in. This one we can. There's actually a clip that goes right there, so there's probably a small gap.
Okay. That worked out nice. Got a little bit of excess glue coming through.
All right, so we're pushing this seal in as we go, and the big thing that the little notes that came with this mentioned that you have to really clean out all the way in the valley of this groove because it gets old rubber and crap in it. So Justin had spent some time going through this before Jason and I got to put the glass together, and we're trying to get the seal in. But you basically got to get this seal. There's a little like hook-in section here that has to go in that groove. So if it's not clean, it won't clip in there. But you can use your fingers or these plastic pry tools from Eastwood. I use these on all kinds of stuff, but they work really nicely. So never done this before, but we're trying to get it to clip in. what we're trying to do here. Let's get this little, it's like a little lip right there that we're trying to get the push in. And it's a matter of oh yeah, that Windex.
Soapy
Not
water. That's what I always use to
Yeah.
get.
This glass cleaner stuff seems to work pretty good that somebody gave us. Alright, so we were trying to put the windshield in just to test fit it for the first time and maybe attach these screws for the hinge, and I realized that my side was like definitely seized, so there's like a hinge section with two little arms that actually like bolts up into the header of the car, and then there's this piece here that actually bolts into the windshield frame itself and is what attaches the windshield frame. There's two pins and it hinges out. But I found on mine, luckily we saw it as we were about to mount it up, one of my hinges was like super seized, so it just had a bunch of rust in there and was all seized up. So we pulled the whole mess out, put it on the bench in the vise. I sprayed it down with pre and wire brushed it, sprayed some lube on it. We got it all freed up. Both sides are freed up, so we're putting them back together so we can get this mounted. So we're going to mount these little arms to the windshield itself so we can kind of like hook it in and put the hinge pins back in, and we should at least have it hinging open and shut so we can test fit everything and see how our gasket assembly went.
Ready?
So that kind of like hold up. That's wrong. You gotta push that one all the way out the window. Slide it up. I don't have it on either of them right now. I'm gonna put it in the back one first. To me, it's like it needs to go up like that. See how mine's like almost. Mine's fitting at the bottom now. I don't know if that seal's supposed to sit in that much more.
It's not even touching anything down here.
So in case you're wondering, you can put one of these seals in backwards, and we're the guys that did it. So we pulled the seal back out and we're starting over. Coolest thing we have right now is this little baby Eastwood. Should have some safety in this. Little Eastwood dead blow hammer is actually coming in kind of handy. I just got it for assembly type stuff, but it's working well for this to kind of hammer it into the groove. It just looks better.
Yeah, it looks like it belongs.
We did a really good job of putting it in backwards, though, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I was just thinking hopefully it didn't stretch.
Little glass cleaner over here. All right, so now we got the seal actually mounted correctly. The window actually like fits in the hole this time. So we can put our screws in for the windshield frame or the hinge, and then should be at least have a windshield. All right, so we're having a saga of trying to get the glass in this. When you take an old, rusty piece of junkyard car, you're gonna run into these problems because everything is seized and messed up. So we were trying to do a test fit, like a dry run of the with the glass in and getting it up and down, and it got like stuck in this little pin here when it gets up to the top here, there's actually like a little half moon track that it catches in and allows the window to go to up the last, like, I don't know what, 2 inches or something like that. And what we were finding also is when it got up to the top, this arm was popping off the track. So when this thing moves, see how this one's sliding and that one's kind of like stuck? So if we slide far enough, this will actually pop off because this is supposed to be also sliding. What's happening is there's a bunch of like,
You can see that white stuff.
yeah, there's just like petrified grease in there, and I've already cleaned this track out really good for the most part, except for a little bit right there. And that petrified grease it's supposed to like slide, you know, smoothly like that, but unfortunately it is not. Now the glass does help keep it in the track and centered, so this is kind of making it seem a little worse than it is. But what we were noticing as the glass was going up, it was like jamming or fighting, and this track wasn't sliding on these wheels how it's supposed to. So I'm taking some Eastwood Pre and just using it to kind of spray, and I already sprayed myself in the eye, so that was a good start to 2021. So spray that, use your safety squint, and then you can clean. It kind of just dissolves and frees up all that old petrified grease, and then we'll put some fresh grease back in there, of course. But we need to get all the junk and like the caked on grease that's actually binding these wheels up out of here, and then the thing should flow nicely.
Another thing we have to realize too is when we put the glass in, we have to center the track in between the window channel, because the glass, once it's in that channel, the glass doesn't really float side to side. So if we have it off and it tries to go up, the window will jam and pinch. So just some little things that we overlooked doing this the first time.
Learn from our mistakes. Start with a nicer car.
That's if you take anything away from this build, that is the main thing.
But we're trying to save money. So proof that we do use our mail call stuff. JR sent me this from AGS. Sent me this garage door grease a while ago, but along with a lot of other stuff. And this is kind of like a garage door track.
Simplified.
Basically the same idea. So it's got a roller in here. So this grease is like way thinner. The stuff we took out was like, you know, it was going back to dinosaur form. So we are finger banging this and getting this all set up here. And this,
I like your technique. It's a good technique.
Yeah. This is why our videos are not approved for children. Check out my OnlyFans, where the behind the scenes of this of this window channel lubrication.
No, it's probably still from the 1930s.
Oh, I'm sure.
Judging by the condition of this car, I doubt they lube their window regulators.
We're the only idiots that are actually redoing this stuff.
Is that period correct grease?
So since the strips and stuff to redo these doors are really expensive, we're using cloth tape like it would have had originally, but we're going to use a little bit of just a bead of this silicone in the very bottom to help keep the
door in place.
Help keep the glass from pulling out or anything weird. So this will kind of just seal it down to the bottom of the track. And I know it's not the 100-point restoration answer here, and we're gonna get crap that we're hacks on the internet, but
this also isn't like crazy adhesive silicone either. It's like gasket maker, right?
Yeah, basically. So we're just trying to get something in here to help
keep the door from pulling out.
I don't know if I can really help here.
There we go.
So do you want to?
Head up.
called on?
The glass itself was caught. The glass needed to go forward. So we figured out why the regulator on the other side was flopping around.
We think the other regulator was replaced at some time because there is no remnants of this little whoop down on the front and the back. Technical term, whoop down. And that actually is a guide that keeps this track from sliding back and forth, which was the problem that we were having when everything was like apart. When the glass is in, no problem at all, but when it's out, these little guides here help keep everything centered and in place and happy.
Look at that.
But that's that greaser you're talking about that's just really just rock hard. So we're gonna have to clean this out because it was already kind of difficult to get this to slide around. So we'll clean all that up. We'll get our window channel all cleaned up and get some sealer in there. And then we can drop it in. And hopefully this window will go a little bit smoother. Hopefully.
You had to say it.
I know.
All right, so glass is in. This side went in very easy. What we're doing is we're sticking a rag in the door frame here.
Help put some pressure on it to kind of lock everything in place.
Okay, that rag's tight.
Okay, that's close. Let that sit like that, and that should be all right.
Seems like it's seated better now.
Okay. Cool. That one's in.
Yeah, it's tight. There's way less fingerprints on this piece of glass.
Yeah. We learned on the other one.
Now we gotta do the back windows.
Oh boy. Okay.
Actually not bad from right here.
Want me to be a expert flashlight holder?
Well, probably need someone just to look. Should be able to see it from the... I mean, the channels on both ends, right?
Yeah, you're in the channel here. You just can't.
I think we're in that.
Are we in?
I think so. It feels like it. I think I'm in. It feels good.
Let me rock it up and down. Let's see. Just real gentle. Slow, slow, slow. I can't.
Well, if you run it down far enough, there's an opening right here,
Yeah, I
right?
can see. I think that's all the further it goes on these cars.
That's right, yeah. You know what we could do?
Here.
I think we can run it to like... Actually, leave it right there.
Now it's down, you can probably.
Oh, yeah, we're in.
Not the other side.
Oh, we're in. Dude, this flashlight thing is actually quite nice.
Hashtag sponsored.
You didn't get me anything fancy for my birthday. Right.
Oh, good guy.
The garnish molding is really... Alright, hold on a sec. Let me get a rag, roll it down a little bit. Okay. Yeah, no garnish molding. It likes to flop around a little bit.
Well, we could clip it in. I think this garnish molding pretty much clips in, right?
There's no screws. Well, do you want to at least get it seated?
Yeah, let's leave it all seated with the rag trick.
Can't really see what I'm doing. I mean, that's tight.
Okay, we'll leave that pressure on it and that'll let everything seal up. Definitely gotta upgrade the 2 window cranks.
Yes, a single window crank.
And
is
my
good.
window's up so I can't reach my hand through them. What is going on here?
The kids
Make
are
sure
gonna-
that the door's also not locked now.
Because we don't have keys to this, do we?
No.
That would be hilarious.
Hey, we get the last window in and the door's locked? Okay. Thank goodness.
So, we have to break the new windows we just put in.
This car no longer has windows. I'm giving up on windows. How about there? Try that.
Sure.
Do you want me to get in and
Yeah.
get out of the way? You're a professional.
Ah, son of a biscuit.
What? Oh yeah.
What's on the, what's is on the outside of it?
It's just not even, I don't know if you're crooked, but
Well, look, I
there you
just,
go, now you're there.
oh.
Smart.
Well, I'm worried about this, the seal on the vertical in the back here. Am I in that?
Oh yeah, you're in.
Okay.
You just worked down all the way. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Before I jam the window down, I want to make sure it was in the actual track.
Want me to try and move it?
Yeah, go ahead. Just watch it flops.
That's up.
Yeah, stuff a rag in it.
Yeah.
Definitely needs a little lube.
Cool. All right. There we go.
Nice. I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Man.
So these are still the windows that Rich sent, right?
Yeah, these are the two. That was a very expensive lesson that I paid to have those shipped across the country to only break the windshield. But you used to have two pieces of original Ford glass. They're actually pretty decent.
Yeah, just these fingerprints are all on these. Oh yeah, look at that. Just wiping down the outside. Sounds like the roof's caving in. Jeez.
All right, so the second half of this glass install project went way smoother than the first half. The windshield fought us for sure, and in the end, what I ended up finding out is the regulator that we have for this windshield, even though Justin got it all working fine, the last like tooth that pulls the windshield in, just the last little bit to just totally seal it in, is gone or broken or rounded off, and unfortunately I can't get it to pull in, and if you go too far it actually spins and then you got to help the windshield to pull back out. So the good thing is we can get it pulled in 90% of the way, and it is fine for driving it around and trying to work the bugs out and getting moved forward. These regulators are pretty hard to find, and kind of the kick in the pants on this is the parts car that I got with this car, I actually sold a good one out of that car to a guy that was restoring one, thinking, oh, this one's fine, it'll be okay. Well, it wasn't. So now I gotta find one for this car if we wanna make it perfect, but for now, for working all the bugs out, this should be totally fine for driving the car around. The rest of the windows actually ended up working out pretty darn good. We did cut some corners by not getting the whole seal and felt kit for this, because honestly, it's like, I think it's like 360 bucks a window, a door or window for doing that, so times 4. So that basically gets us into like more than I have into the car, or as much, which we're just trying to get keep it in a budget on this car. So we did some other little things, and some of the felt was actually okay on the car, and it is something that somebody could change later down the road if they really want to. But for now, we got windows in the car. It looks like a car. It's crazy. Like just putting glass in the car and cleaning it, it looks so much better just sitting here in the shop, which is really awesome. So really all we need to do now before we can just take it on a test drive, I need to bleed the brakes again because they're just, the pedal's just a little bit lower than I would like. We need to put shocks on the car, which I found some original Ford brackets that we're going to use to put tube shocks on the car. So we're going to use those real soon. And I think that's about it, really, which is kind of crazy that the list is that small. So that's the last couple things basically before we like take it on the road and drive it. Now I'm sure once we drive it, we're going to find like, oh, we need to do the toe, set the toe on the front, which is just like a, you know, an hour job or something. So once we do those few things, I'm sure we'll find some stuff once we drive it that we need to work out and fix, but like we're really, really close. And of course it's the middle of the winter. So we may try and get a warm day once we get those things done to sneak a little test drive around the neighborhood. And then when spring comes, we can really start driving it, putting some miles on it, get all the bugs worked out so that this thing is good and, fairly reliable. So really exciting to get the glass in. This is like, we've been trying to do this since like March, April, since like when the coronavirus stuff hit. It was right when we were trying to get our local glass shop to do it, and they shut down. So yeah, finally it's done, it's in, and we just got to put some garnish molding in. We have some rags in the windows to hold it up, because we did put some sealant in the channels just to like help lock those in place. So give it a day or two, and then I can pull them out, clip the garnish molding in, and the interior will start to look a little better, which is really awesome. So that is our most recent update on the 39 Forgotten Hot Rod. Appreciate you guys following along on the whole entire build. We are very, very, very close to driving this thing. So in the spring, we should be ripping this thing around, taking it to some swap meets and events, and just having fun with it. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you later.